Okay, it is now 7:05, and we can get started. Hello, PNW Key Clubbers. Welcome to the 2024 Running for Higher Office webinar. Now that it is 7:05, we will go ahead and get started. My name is Isabella Baldessari, and I currently serve as your Pacific Northwest District Governor. I'm a junior from Woodburn High School in Division 70.
Hello everyone, my name is May Ramek and I currently serve as the Pacific Northwest District Secretary, and I'm a senior at Timberline High School from Division 38.
Hello everyone, my name is Jeffrey Vasilio and I currently serve as the Pacific Northwest District Treasurer. I'm currently a senior at Hazen High School in Division 32.
Hi everyone, I'm Tessa Hill and I currently serve as your district editor, and I am a senior from Corvallis High School in Division 72.
Hi everybody, my name is Sky Rowe and I'm a senior at Twelton High School and I'm serving as the Lieutenant Governor of Division 64.
Hello everyone, my name is Addison Rooster and I'm a senior at Kingston High School. I am currently serving as the Lieutenant Governor of Division 1936.
Perfect. Chikanma, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Chikanma Okoiser. I'm a senior from Midland, Michigan, and I serve as your International Trustee.
Great. Thank you all. Now that you have had a chance to meet your speakers for tonight, I'll be moving on to the agenda for the evening. Tonight, we will cover all of the individual leadership roles PNW Key Club has to offer at the district board level, including the position of Lieutenant Governor, the positions on the executive committee, and the duties they entail. We will also review international board positions and the process of seeking higher office at district convention. Please stay until the very end, as there will be an opportunity to ask questions. I'll first pass it on to Addison to talk about the position of a lieutenant governor.
Thanks, Isabella. I will start off by highlighting the duties, expectations, and responsibilities of the Lieutenant Governor. Throughout this segment, please write down any questions you may have so that we can address them later. The primary role of the Lieutenant Governor is to serve as the liaison between the district and club level. While each division is different in terms of membership demographics and number of clubs, the responsibilities of the Lieutenant Governor are the same regardless of the division they serve. A strong candidate for Lieutenant Governor will be prepared to work with the clubs in their division to create a noticeable impact on their community. They should be ready to analyze the way each club in their division functions to help identify resources that may assist them. Lieutenant Governors represent their division, motivate club officers to excel in their positions, and organize various educational and service-related opportunities for their clubs. If you're looking to run for the position of Lieutenant Governor for the sole purpose of fulfilling a resume slot or gaining exposure on social media, this position will not benefit you nor your division. Strong candidates for the position of Lieutenant Governor are prepared to consistently work hard and think critically throughout their term. The responsibilities of Lieutenant Governor can be split into two components: division and district responsibilities. We will start with division responsibilities. As a Lieutenant Governor, you'll be responsible for serving a set of clubs in your division. Divisions can have between 2 and 14 clubs. However, most divisions typically have about 6 to 9 clubs. Each division size has its own set of challenges and opportunities. Be prepared to serve the number of clubs in your division. As stated previously, your primary responsibility is to administratively support and grow the clubs in your division. This will include, but is not limited to, President's Council meetings, club visits, and regular communication with your officers. A President's Council meeting, also known as a PCM, is a monthly meeting that is held between the Lieutenant Governor and club presidents. During this meeting, the Lieutenant Governor provides updates from the division, district, and international levels, and may also facilitate discussion between the officers. PCMs can be held in person or online. Additionally, Lieutenant Governors must visit each club twice during their term, with their first round being completed by June 30th. As such, it is crucial that you have a schedule that allows you to complete visits, some of which could be during the school day, and have a means of transportation to get to clubs. You can get reimbursed for gas or the fee for your Uber. Lieutenant Governors are also responsible for holding 3 divisional council meetings, also known as DCMs, during their term. A DCM is a meeting with officers and members of your division to perform an act of service and/or discuss official business related to Key Club. First is an officer training conference, which should be held in spring or early fall. Next is the Lieutenant Governor election rally for your successor. This must be held in mid-January 2025, or 2024 for us. And lastly, it would be a DCM that has an agenda of your choosing. Examples of DCMs include a park cleanup, District Project 101, etc. Please note that you are only required to hold one additional DCM during the year. However, some lieutenant governors decide to hold them on a more regular basis. Nonetheless, DCMs do not satisfy the monthly PCM requirements or vice versa. A lieutenant governor must also work closely with the Kiwanis family, which includes visiting all Kiwanis clubs in the division at least once and making the effort to attend all Kiwanis Divisional Council meetings. If you are unfamiliar with the Kiwanis family, you can find more information on the PNW Key Club website. Lastly, you'll be responsible for achieving full and timely dues collection of both district and international dues for all clubs in your division. As for your district responsibilities, you'll be responsible for submitting both a monthly divisional newsletter and report on your division by the 10th of each month. Newsletters are distributed to members, officers, advisors, and Kiwanis clubs in the division. Additionally, lieutenant governors must attend all scheduled board meetings, which includes your winter board training, in addition to spring, summer, fall, and the following winter board. A Key Club Days in-person and/or virtual event, as well as a district convention at the beginning and end of your term, all of which will be either in Portland or the Seattle area. There is an administrator from the PNW Kiwanis Committee that will help arrange your transportation for board meetings. Failure to attend more than one of these required meetings will result in scheduling conflict with immediate dismissal from office. Therefore, if you already have a scheduling conflict with more than one of the required meeting dates in the 2024-2025 governor candidate packet, you should not be running for the position of lieutenant governor. Lastly, you'll be assigned to one district committee. District committees are the main way we complete work as a district and help to achieve the goals and objectives of our strategic plan. Typically, each committee meets 1 to 2 times a month, and as a committee member, you will have to complete work between meetings. This year, our standing committees include the District Convention, District Project, Kiwanis Family Relations, Membership Growth and Reactivation, the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund, and the Strategic Planning Committee, and the single position of webmaster. However, the standing committees may differ the next year depending on the appointments made by your next district governor. On the screen are some screenshots and examples of newsletters. All newsletters are created through MailChimp, and training on how to create them is given during winter board. Please be prepared to spend a significant amount of time creating high-quality newsletters every month so that members stay informed about the latest Key Club updates. I will now pass it off to Sky to discuss the skill set of Lieutenant Governor and how to run for the position.
Thank you, Addison. So individuals who are successful in the role of a lieutenant governor often share a few similar characteristics. So first, they typically are able to analyze issues within clubs. It is imperative that lieutenant governors understand and take action on issues affecting their clubs before viewing the division as a single entity. Without having a strong set of clubs, it's not possible to have effective DCMs, fundraisers, or communication. Additionally, the work that they do during their term may not impact their division until the following year. So the ability to be patient with creating sustainable plans is a skill that will benefit a lieutenant governor as well as their clubs. And then second, they have strong communication skills. More often than not, the reason clubs do not communicate with their lieutenant governor is because they do not understand what assistance they can receive. And additionally, it is important to work with advisors when planning projects or events. It is much easier to accomplish your goals as a lieutenant governor when you have the support of all the advisors in your division. Third is going to be time management skills, which are necessary for this position because lieutenant governors must complete all parts of their service agreement during their term. The service agreement is a minimum set of responsibilities that are necessary to have an effective term. They're not guidelines or optional responsibilities because lieutenant governors cannot be successful in this position if they do not fulfill them. On that note, they should also avoid last-minute planning. In order for club visits, training opportunities, and events to be successful, the lieutenant governor must always be thoughtful and intentional in their decisions. And then lastly, as the leader of Key Club in their respective division, thinking creatively, especially when it comes to community service, will serve Lieutenant Governors well. By making connections with community leaders and organizations, Lieutenant Governors can introduce their division to new and unique service projects. Individuals who know their division well are prepared to learn quickly, will be well suited for this position. In addition, each lieutenant governor will have their own unique set of struggles and successes. Your ability to tailor support specifically to your division will be crucial to serving in this position. This includes our segment on the responsibilities of a lieutenant governor. We will now be moving on to how to run for the position of a lieutenant governor. So, similar to running for district executive or international board position, the only requirement to run for lieutenant governor is that you must be a dues paid member in good standing from a club within your division. All information regarding how to run for lieutenant governors can be found within the lieutenant governor candidate packet, which will be emailed to all attendees. You should also have received this resource from your current LTG, and please note that divisional election rallies are held on different dates, but all must be held prior to January 21st, 2024. All election rallies will be held in person this year. Candidates must be present at least 20 minutes prior to the start of the election rally. At this time, you must have the Lieutenant Governor Service Agreement and candidacy form submitted to your Lieutenant Governor via email. Both of these forms are included in the Lieutenant Governor candidate packet, which can be scanned or photocopied. To summarize the election process, the election will begin with the current lieutenant governor introducing each candidate and stating their home club. The current lieutenant governor will use a random number generator to determine the order in which the delegates will hear their speeches and ask questions. All candidates, except for the individual going first, will be instructed to leave the room. Each candidate will deliver their speech, not to exceed 3 minutes, and then the election rally attendees will then have a chance to ask questions of the candidate, which also can't exceed 3 minutes. If there are no questions from the audience, the lieutenant governor will ask you questions from the sample candidate background questions and knowledge questions, which can also be found in the lieutenant governor candidate packet. And after the questioning period, the candidate will be instructed to leave the room while other candidates speak. Club delegates will also have the opportunity to deliberate and cast their votes. Please keep in mind that this is a summary of election procedures and additional information can be found in the Lieutenant Governor candidate packet. As a candidate, you must adhere to a $0 campaign policy and may not visit any clubs with the intention of campaigning. Additionally, you may email an approved statement of intent to each club president in your division stating your decision to run for office. This statement must be approved by your lieutenant governor prior to you sending it. You may also be endorsed by your club, meaning that your club agrees you are qualified to serve in the position and supports your candidacy. Please keep in mind that a statement of intent and endorsement is not required. This covers the procedures for running for lieutenant governor. Please save any questions you have until our open period for questioning at the end. I will now hand it off to Isabella for more information about a district executive committee position.
Thank you, Sky and Addison, for your insights. For the following segment, we will highlight the duties, expectations, roles, and responsibilities as leaders of the PNW Key Club District Board, along with the information about how we work in relation to one another. First off, in order to run for any position, you must be a dues-paid Key Club member. Strive at all times to strengthen and build membership in the district, maintain the quality of schoolwork, and keep up to date on any other personal obligations. This is incredibly important to remember, since as a district executive, you will have to prioritize Key Club over any other activity and make sacrifices for the betterment of the organization. Moving on, some of the shared duties of the executive committee includes facilitating all board meetings, attending executive committee meetings, and being present at other events when called upon. The executives work together to create training materials for all of the lieutenant governors, send out monthly executive newsletters, develop committee directives, and much more. Being an executive is a position that requires a high degree of flexibility, where you will be working with other students and adults frequently. Now, With that introduction out of the way, I will pass it on to Tessa Hill to tell you more about the position of District Editor.
Thank you so much, Isabella. Hi, everyone. Once again, my name is Tessa Hill, and I am your current District Editor. To start with the overview, my main responsibility as the district editor has been the development of promotional materials for our district events like Key Club Days, DCON, and various other work needed for our many specific committees, for example, PINWAF. To promote resources effectively, the editor is the primary owner of all district social media accounts. So when someone responds to your message or posts a reel, that is me behind the scenes. But PNW social media encompasses more than just Instagram. So, for example, our Facebook and YouTube. As editor, it has been my duty to explore new editing and design techniques to further enhance the quality of promotional materials and by using visuals to aid the communications between district and club level. I've tried to experiment with this by doing things like drawing Morty, our district mascot, in the bottom left there, in new scenes or expressions that he hasn't previously had in hopes of adding a little bit of fun to the graphics. But with all the talk of graphic design, one could currently be intimidated putting all of this together. To this, don't worry if you don't have graphic design experience. There are plenty of resources out there, and by taking initiative and going out and self-teaching, I promise that you will be able to learn all the relevant programs and tools such as Canva, Photoshop, and Illustrator to successfully complete responsibilities as district editor. Also, as your immediate past district editor, I of course will always be there to help you when you need it with a second opinion, advice, or software knowledge. One last big thing, which I'll talk about more on the next slide, is the Espresso, which is essentially a big newsletter with articles written from our LTGs that goes out to the whole district. So one of my foremost responsibilities as the district editor that could be easily be guessed has been putting together the various graphics seen throughout the district. As the editor, it's been my job to take graphic requests from various committees and take initiatives in my own graphics as well. These include promo posts for PINWAF or making a resource, for example, working with others to format the registration packets used for DCON. Something to note when putting together promotions is that all materials going out to the public will be approved by our amazing district administrator, Brian Egger, and our fantastic assistant district administrator, Krina Sikon. Working with others is essential, and taking constructive criticism well if an area needs to be changed is definitely something the editor will be expected to do. As editor, your role in the district is to communicate information from the district to the club level, and to ensure these communications are timely, well-written, free of mistakes, and follow the Key Club graphic standards. These communications take place in a variety of forms, the first being our district publication, The Espresso. Every year, it's been published online on Issue, and our articles are written by district board and club members. This will require you to send out many emails to board members requesting these articles and other sections that you may want. The dates for the Espresso are flexible, but typically surround the 4 seasons of the year. So, for example, the last Espresso actually came out this past Sunday, the 15th, so definitely go check it out. It contains everything you may need to know about the district and has a bunch of resources all in one place. Communications also extend to the lieutenant governors, who create monthly divisional newsletters. It is the editor's job to oversee the timeliness and quality of these newsletters, making sure that they're turned in by the 10th of each month. It's also the editor's job to teach the incoming lieutenant governors how to make newsletters and how to use the software associated with sending newsletters out correctly each month, such as MailChimp and Google Groups. On occasion, I provide feedback to club editors and assist them when they reach out, and I also maintain monthly communication with them, sending out important dates and resources for each month. And also, during DCON, I will lead the newsletter and editor workshop, so be sure to attend. Other duties of the editor include, but are not limited to, creating headers for biweekly email updates, sign-up and feedback forms, uploading videos to the YouTube channel, and serving as executive liaison to the webmaster, the lieutenant governor who operates the PNW Key Club website. I've also taken on being a liaison to the KFAM committee as well, which entails working with them to maximize the amount the district knows about the other Kiwanis family branches around them and promoting things like joint service projects with other branches, for one example. And some skills required for the district editor are as follows. First and most importantly is to be dynamic. So as editor, your weekly schedule can change with a single email in your mailbox. You must be flexible enough to change plans on a dime when needed. And hopefully, post requests should typically give you enough time, but there will be crunch times if there needs to be a quick turnaround. There also will be times where requests could be overwhelming, so being communicative with expectations and prioritizing time-sensitive tasks is a must as the editor. Secondly, is a willingness to learn. As I mentioned earlier, it's definitely okay if you don't have a lot of experience with graphic design, but be prepared to put in the extra time and effort to research and discover new mediums of design and your own personal style. If you are confident in your ability, that will be one less thing that you will need to pick up, but expect to still experiment with new things. A general skill that's important in any workplace environment is communication. Giving feedback to lieutenant governors, communicating to club editors, and working on the executive committee all require effective communication. Effective communication sometimes can be challenging, but necessary when you need to provide constructive criticism to your peers when something simply isn't right and can be improved. In a more creative role like the editor, it will serve you well to have a vision. A good editor will be able to keep track of the annual events we hold and the requests that are asked of them, but a great editor will be able to have a vision for something that they want to create that will push Key Club in a better direction. If you don't think you are the visionary type, don't worry. There will be countless opportunities as editor to go above your responsibilities and create a large impact through your graphics. And last, organization is also very helpful. In the beginning of my term, it was a lot, especially for things like the espresso and realizing how much needed to be done. However, the editor can be as much as you want it to be, so don't overwhelm yourself by jumping task to task. Making plans for yourself will prove essential for a happy medium. Organization makes everything much easier and more efficient, such as files in the right place, named correctly, and structure for yourself and others, which ensures that promotion runs smoothly for your term and for the years to come. So with that, I will hand it off to our District Treasurer, Jeffrey Basilio, to talk further about his role.
Thanks, Tessa. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Jeffrey Basilio, and I'm serving as your current District Treasurer, as well as your Pacific Northwest Fund Committee Chair. As District Treasurer, you will be responsible for managing and distributing financial information regarding the Pacific Northwest District, ranging from the member level all the way to district funding. Your duties will also involve providing members with assistance when it comes to club and divisional fundraising, service project planning, and the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund. As Treasurer, your role includes promoting membership growth, club chartering through dues payments. You are the primary reporter of the district's financial data and dues information. Your goal is to obtain a 95% dues collection rate from the clubs in the PNW district. In order to do so, you will maintain contact with clubs that do not pay their dues by the dues deadlines to ensure that any issues they may have are resolved. You will also be responsible for providing regular weekly updates on the district dues status to the district board. Additionally, you'll work closely with district committees, primarily the Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee, or MGRC, to encourage membership growth and retention through resources designed to assist with increasing membership and the timely submission of dues. You are also responsible for monitoring district finances by collecting and processing Lieutenant Governor expense vouchers for reimbursement and money reconciliation for fundraising. You will also work closely with District Finance Administrator Mike Wallace to do those items. You must also provide regular updates to the district board on their expenditure and financial status. Additionally, you must also train and support club treasurers. This will be done through monthly emails where you can provide club treasurers with helpful resources and district updates. You can also utilize presentations, social media posts, and district publications such as the Espresso to share important information with club treasurers. You are also responsible for leading the Club Treasurers Workshop at DCON 2026, where you will train incoming treasurers for the upcoming year. Finally, you are responsible for providing consistent updates to vacant divisions, which are divisions without a lieutenant governor if you are assigned to one. As mentioned previously, you must provide timely updates to the district board every month This will be done in the form of monthly executive newsletters where you will provide the district board with financial and dues information, as well as updates on the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund. You will also curate a monthly membership and financial report, which will contain that month's up-to-due dues collection and reimbursement information. As treasurer, you will submit at least 2 articles for each edition of the quarterly district publication, The Espresso. One article will be an executive update, and the other will be either separate from the treasurer update or an article from the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund Committee. One of the most important duties as district treasurer is serving as the chair of the Pacific Northwest Opportunities Fund, or PNWOF committee, our district grant. As a committee chair, you are responsible for presiding over all committee meetings, ensuring that the PNW is ready to ensuring that the grant application is ready to be released on September 1st, and promoting the PNWOF through social media and other resources throughout and leading up to the application period. You also must begin administrating the application evaluation process promptly before the application closes on October 31st, and work with your committee to determine the projects you choose to fund to ensure that recipients of the grant are notified in November. After the application period, you will continue to work with your committee to create reports and resources for the PNWOF. You will also serve actively as an executive liaison on any other committees as assigned. Now, in order to serve as an efficient and strong district treasurer, there are some skills that are important for you to have. Firstly, organization has a vital role in that of the district treasurer. You will be tasked with many duties that involve organizing numbers, club statuses, and other information in order to present them to the district board and members. So it is important that you know how to organize and manage such information beforehand. Planning is also an important part of organization that will assist you in keeping track of your goals and duties throughout the year. This will help you more effectively fulfill your role and respond to unexpected problems or challenges you may encounter during the year. The service year goes by quickly, so effective time management will help you reach your goals as district treasurer, because September is not only the start of due season, but it also the start of PNWOF applications. Knowing how to effectively plan and allocate your time will ensure that you are not overwhelmed or not producing quality work. You are also tasked with sending out multiple monthly updates, so being able to plan out tasks will serve you well in your role. As treasurer, you will be constantly working with other people, whether that be the executive committee, the district board, the PNWOF committee, or club members. So communication is vital in this role to ensure that you are able to resolve conflict, listen to others, make compromises, and ultimately be a strong leader. You must be willing to be assertive, have problem-solving skills, and have strong listening skills, and as well as be able to take input and feedback. Innovation within your position will create new opportunities for growth as a treasurer. When developing new resources, sharing fundraising ideas, and coming up with promotional methods, critical thinking will assist you in being innovative and thinking outside of the box. It will also assist you with the problem solving, as you will be able to approach situations with an objective standpoint. With that being said, we will now be moving on to the responsibilities of the district secretary, led by District Secretary May Ramick.
Hi everyone, as I said earlier, my name is May Ramick and I currently serve as your district secretary. So moving on to the overview, as district secretary, you're the chief communicator to the district and serve as the only executive committee member that maintains consistent communication with all clubs throughout the district. As secretary, your specific duties may include oversee and facilitate effective communication throughout the district, manage methods of communication and compile contact information for the district directory, support the district board, and remain available to assist all members throughout the Pacific Northwest. And moving on to basic responsibilities, recording and maintaining meeting minutes at all seasonal district board meetings, which are required to be published within 15 days. If you're unfamiliar with what the district board meeting minutes are, please refer to the PNW Key Club website under the Publications tab. Additionally, you are the primary support mechanism for all club secretaries. That means you will train club secretaries at district convention, release resources to support them during their term, and collect, read, and track all monthly secretary reports. This includes tracking the district project contributions as well. Your relationship with club secretaries is what makes the position of district secretary unique, and thus you serve as a direct link between the district and club levels. You will also need to develop and publish the district directory by August 31st. In case you do not know what the district directory is, it is essentially contains all meetings and contact information within a district. This includes officer and advisor email addresses, and the time and location of all Key Club and Kiwanis meetings. As district secretary, you will need to periodically release updated versions of the directory throughout your term. You may access the current directory on the PNW Key Club website. And just like the rest of the executive officers, you'll be responsible for contributing to the monthly executive newsletter and the quarterly district publication called the Expresso. You will also administer the district's go-go groups, updating each officer group regularly and overseeing the use of each group by committee chairs, lieutenant governors, and/or executive committee members. Promotional materials and resources sent through these Google groups will also be your responsibility. You will be assigned at least one committee to work with. For example, for this year, I am working with MGRC, or Membership Growth and Reactivation, and assist throughout the year. You will create an annual report that summarizes the work of each PNW district committee at the end of your term and assist the committee chairs when necessary. One other important aspect to keep in mind is that you work very closely with the rest of the executive officers, especially with the district governor. You may also be required to oversee meetings or fulfill other obligations in the absence of the governor. Moving on to our skill set, there are also some skills necessary to successfully fulfill your responsibility as district secretary. First of all, obviously, organization. As secretary, you'll be given several projects simultaneously with varying deadlines that must be managed effectively. Additionally, you will have to manage and keep track of several deadlines and details in order to support the executive committee and district board. Another important skill, which you have heard me talk about so far, is communication. The role of district secretary requires you to speak and write clearly. Every aspect of this position is based on the ability to effectively communicate. That said, those not willing to communicate with large groups, able to exercise proper grammar, vocabulary, or communicate in a timely fashion by email may not be suited for this position. Additionally, diligence will be necessary throughout your term. You'll find that the district secretary is expected to effectively and independently be able to carry out their own task while supporting others. In order to do this successfully, you must be able to diligently complete your task without consistent reminders or checklists. Next, you'll also find that the district secretary must be willing to accept any extra tasks and projects and assist those who are in need of support. We will now be moving on to the responsibilities of the district governor led by Isabella Baldassari.
Thanks, May. As mentioned earlier, my name is Isabella Baldassari, and I'm currently serving as your 2024-2025 PNW Key Club District Governor. And I'll now introduce you to the role of the governor. For a brief overview, the district governor ensures that district board members are providing adequate support to clubs, oversees the development of training materials for the district board and club officers, and develops or carries out a strategic plan for the vision of PNW Key Club. The district governor serves as the chief executive officer of the district, training lieutenant governors and evaluating their performance. The district governor also develops committee directives for their term in office, appoints committee chairs and assigns co-committee members, and presides over all board meetings as well as the Pacific Northwest Key Club District Convention. It is important to note that some committees can change from year to year depending on the needs of the district. However, all committee chairs are selected at the discretion of the governor in consultation with the district administrator. In this position, you're ultimately responsible for evaluating and supporting nearly 40 lieutenant governors. To do this, you will complete quarterly lieutenant governor evaluations with each board member and provide any additional support as necessary. You will be working closely with the district administrator, Brian Egger, as well as the assistant district administrator, Karina Saikon. Further, you will be required to maintain good relations with your Kiwanis family counterparts. This includes the Kiwanis District Governor and Circle K District Governor. You will be responsible for hosting collaborative meetings as necessary for the betterment of both organizations. It will also be your job to implement a district project for the 2025-2026 service year. This year, the district project was the SEED initiative, Ending Youth Houselessness. Throughout the year, you'll work closely with the district project committee to ensure that the project's goals are being fulfilled. As the Chief Executive Officer of the Pacific Northwest, you will also be responsible for collecting and creating a monthly Lieutenant Governor report, in addition to sending your own Governor report to Key Club International. To represent PNW Key Club as a member of the Key Club International Council, you will work closely with your international trustee to communicate the desires and needs of the district. You will host bi-weekly or monthly meetings with your trustee to receive relevant updates from Key Club International and work through any issues the district is facing. It is important to note that being governor requires you to travel extensively throughout the district. You will attend a variety of events at the beginning of your term, throughout the summer, during the school year, and even after your term. Please note that in some months, specifically during the summer, you will be required to travel 2 out of every 4 weekends. These trips will include official visits in which you visit different divisions to assist and train officers, international training conferences, board meetings, and more. Lastly, you will need to push the district to reach its fullest potential. Please keep in mind that you will have the weight of the district on your shoulders. It will be challenging and time-consuming, but I can assure you that it is well worth it in terms of what you learn about yourself and the organization we all serve. While I have communicated the main responsibilities of this position, please keep in mind that there are many other duties and responsibilities that come with serving as the governor. While there is no specific skill set that guarantees success in the position of district governor, there are a few pieces of advice that I want to give to those who are interested in running for this position. Although you may want to accomplish as much as you can during your term, it's important to understand how to prioritize the tasks at hand. You will become stretched too thin between the various responsibilities if you try to complete them all simultaneously, so the ability to prioritize is essential. Additionally, you have many meetings where you cannot complete work during important events such as board meetings, Key Club days, or official visits, so plan to do most of your work on weekdays. District governors spend a great deal of time sending emails and presenting information to others, so it is necessary that a district governor can also speak and write effectively. One of the other main responsibilities of the district governor is to provide feedback and address deficiencies that may be impacting the quality of the district board's performance. Lieutenant governors may need help staying on track with their duties, organizing meetings, or solving issues in their division. It's important that the district governor is willing and able to address conflict and confront board members who may not be meeting expectations. You should be prepared to adapt as an individual, but also adapt materials, resources, and operations to address existing issues within the district board, Kiwanis family, and various parts of the Pacific Northwest. And on that note, you must be able to think analytically to determine how you can best address these issues. This includes looking at cause and effect patterns to make a conclusion about the effectiveness of something currently happening or something you propose. That concludes the duties and skill sets of the governor. I will now let District Treasurer Jeffrey Basilio tell you about running for District Executive Office.
So you might be wondering, what are the requirements for running for District Executive Office? Other than being a dues paid member of the Pacific Northwest Key Club, there are no other requirements to be eligible to run for higher office. Next slide, Isabella. You are not required to have held office before, including positions at the club or district level. For those seeking district executive officer positions, I would like to point you to the candidates checklist. This checklist is located on page 6 of the DCON election packet, which can be found on the PNW Key Club DCON 2025 website, and includes all required forms and dates to be eligible to run. The required paperwork includes, this is a lot, the pre-convention orientation meeting registration form, your campaign flyer, the candidate information sheet, the medical form, the code of conduct, and the service agreement form for the offices of governor, secretary, treasurer, or editor. All of these forms will be completed through Google Form this year, so please remember to fill them out using the respective links. The links, again, can be found on the candidates packet on page 6. In addition, you will need to submit your campaign flyer in PDF format, also via a Google form by February 1st. Remember that to be eligible to run, you must fill out all required forms by the deadline listed in the election packet and no later than February 1st. I'll repeat that just in case. You must fill out all required forms by the deadlines listed in the election packet no later than February 1st. 1159s are unacceptable if you're running for higher office, so don't think about it. In addition to the required paperwork, candidates are also required to attend 2 meetings. The first meeting is the pre-convention orientation meeting, which will be held on February 8th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And the second meeting is the candidates meeting, which will be held at DCON 2025 on Friday, March 28th. We will cover the date and time of your assigned mega caucus and the House of Delegates in the next few slides. More information on times, dates, and other requirements can be found in the DCON 2025 election packet. Now, in order to be eligible to run for district executive office, you're also required to produce a candidate campaign flyer. This slide includes an example of my previous campaign flyer from DCON 2024 to show you how your campaign flyer could be formatted. For your campaign flyer, you may want to include a short bibliography introducing yourself, goals for your term as district officer, and experience or skills that make you suited for the role. You may also consider including any previous experience within Key Club and or the Kiwanis family that you may have, and anything else you would like voting delegates and members to know about you. I also suggest using platforms like Canva or Photoshop to create a professional looking flyer. Please note that your campaign flyer will be in black and white and not in color. Try your best to make your flyer as unique and as slayful as possible. You want to take this flyer as an opportunity to express who you are and what you plan to bring to the table, if elected. More information about the candidate flyer requirements can, again, be found in the election packet. Following the opening session at DCON, you'll be able to present your ideas and qualifications to all DCON attendees in a speech that does not exceed 3 minutes in what is known as the Mega Caucus. Following your speech, you'll be given 1 minute to answer a standard moderator question that will be determined by the position you are running for. You will then have 4 minutes for a question and answer period with the audience. If you are planning to run for the office of district governor, district secretary, or are seeking international endorsement, your mega caucus will be held on Friday, March 28th from 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. If you are running for the office of district treasurer or district editor, your mega caucus will be held on Saturday, March 29th from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. So please note that there are 2 separate mega caucus, each have different positions attached to them. Now, you will give a formal campaign address at the House of Delegates session on Saturday afternoon of DCON 2025. This speech has a 2-minute time limit and will not be followed with a standard moderated question or audience questioning. After all candidates for a position have finished their campaign addresses, the House of Delegates will cast their votes. The House consists of 2 voting delegates from each club attending DCON 2025. For a winner to be declared for each office, one candidate must receive a majority or 50% of the votes cast for said office. If no candidate receives a majority of the votes, the top 2 candidates will present a 1-minute runoff speech and a second ballot will be casted. Because of this, candidates should prepare 2 speeches for the House of Delegates: a campaign address not to exceed 2 minutes and a 1-minute runoff speech, especially if there are more than 2 candidates running for the same office. I would say write it regardless, just in case, you never know. More rules about speeches and questions will be covered at the pre-convention orientation meeting in February. The House of Delegates will be hosted on Saturday, March 29th at 12:15 p.m. I'll now be moving on to the campaign rules when running for office. Remember that there is a $0 campaign policy for all candidates. This means that no campaign materials can be dispersed at district convention, including any posters, buttons, or any other promotional material other than the information in the candidate's booklet. There is also no pre-convention campaigning permitted by use of the internet or other electronic means. So you may not use social media campaigning or declare your candidacy online or go to your DCM and yell, "I'm running for district treasurer," or whatever position you may be interested in. Finally, all candidates are prohibited from using any current district board member in their campaign. For example, your division's lieutenant governor cannot endorse you at a DCM or other divisional event, nor can they help you write your speech. District board members cannot show favoritism to any candidate. If any of these campaign rules or other board policies are broken by a candidate, they will be subjected to disqualification by the P&W Key Club Executive Committee with the approval of the district administrator. Now that we have discussed running for district office, I would like to hand it off to our international trustee, Chikanma, who will present on the structure of the international board.
Hi everyone, my name is Chikanma Okoiser, like I said previously before, and I serve as the 2024-2025 International Trustee, along with P&W, Utah, Idaho, and Ohio districts. So essentially, the International Board consists of the President, the Vice President, and 11 International Trustees elected at ICON to make decisions for the Key Club International. So some general information, the Key Club International Convention is next year in Orlando from July 2nd to the 6th, 2025, where you candidates will have to run for international office. International has slightly different rules as to how caucusing in House of Delegates is conducted. So if you plan on running, please make sure to read the candidate information packet on the Key Club International website and attend or watch the Election Task Force guiding webinars when it's available after your DCON. Some more general information. So the board is made up of the president, the vice president, and 11 trustees, and a maximum of 2 trustee candidates can be endorsed by the district to run an international, as well as 1 candidate for president and 1 for vice president. And to be endorsed means essentially to be elected at your DCON to go to ICON to run. And the I-Board is responsible for leading the organization along with the Kiwanis on the international stage. So the general rules of the Key Club International Trustee is firstly to assess the strengths and weaknesses of their districts, to develop relationships with Kiwanis staff members, and to follow directives that are set by the district governors and the presidents. So the basic responsibilities of the Key Club International Trustees are firstly, each trustee is assigned to at least 2 districts. I got the Ohio districts, the Pacific Northwest, and the Ohio districts, Utah, Idaho district. And what that essentially entails is communicating with district governors and district board, as well as the district board as a whole, to pass down information from Key Club International, as well as work on the international board to work on a committee for certain directives, develop administrative policies, and interpret the scope of meetings in the filings. So the skill sets required for international trustee are firstly patience. It's not the role of the trustee to implement work directly in their district pyramid, but rather to provide guidance as needed. Its ability to analyze trends is important because each district has different trends and weaknesses, and it's the role of the trustee to determine why those strengths or weaknesses exist and how to improve them if necessary. Thirdly, to create strong written and oral communications skills is really important because we draft newsletters every month and we have to communicate on a global stage to different districts. Fourthly, to write down directives and follow those directives at LeadCon and throughout your term. And fifth, willingness to work with adults. It includes working with Key Club International adults, as well as district administrators and Kiwanis international board members. And so communicating with adults and working with adults definitely is an important skill set. So running for higher office. So the process is pretty similar to how you run for executive office. And so all information will also be in the call to convention election packet, which you can see some of the information in the PNW election packet, and International also has a packet that comes out after DCON. And after DCON this year, the election and politics experts will be having calls and webinars to discuss different aspects of running for higher office and elections and kind of guiding through the processes. So, what does it mean to be endorsed by the district? So, this means that the district agrees that you're qualified to run for international office and the position you're seeking, and they wish you the best of luck, essentially. So, you must be endorsed by your district, PNW, to go for international office at ICON. And like I said earlier, there are two trustee candidates can be endorsed. One for international can be international president, and one for international vice president can be endorsed as well. How do you seek endorsement? So you have to follow the same steps that you do for district executive office, which include mailing the appropriate paperwork by February 1st, attending the pre-convention orientation meeting, attending the candidates orientation at DCON, caucusing at DCON and ICON, and then developing a formal address for the House of Delegates session at DCON. So after DCON, it's important to talk to your trustee, so talk to me. And we talk about the role you're playing, the role you're about to take, and more information about how to get into ICON and get into the elections, and also how to access the campaign file, candidate information sheets and booklets. And all the information, all candidates must attend ICON in Florida next year. And all the information for arranging your trip to ICON would be organized within your district. Candidates are responsible for paying for their own fares to attend ICON. Okay.
Thank you, Chikanma. Questions about international office not covered in this webinar should be directed to myself at governor@pnwkeyclub.org, International Trustee Chikanma Okoiser at caucusing@keyclub.org, or International President David Robina at drobina@keyclub.org. With that,
sorry.
You go ahead.
Thank you so much, Chikanma and Isabella. With all that now covered, I want to add that if you're thinking about running for higher office, just go for it. The worst thing that can happen is that you lose. And although the possibility of losing may seem incredibly daunting, I know it was for me, life is going to continue moving forward regardless of the results. In the long run, it's better to take the chance on this amazing opportunity than to regret not taking it months later. Ultimately, being an exec is about the quality of work that you are willing to put forward, the passion you have for Key Club, and your willingness to contribute and grow for the organizations. With these positions, you will have a clear purpose and set of responsibilities. And with that, you should have a strong sense of passion and pride for who you want to become within these roles. Don't let your fears hold you back from taking these next steps, because we believe in you.
Thank you so much for those words of encouragement, Jeffrey. I encourage all of you to run if you're interested. Now, we will move into an open floor Q&A for all district board positions. If you have any questions about any of the information you heard tonight, now is the time to ask. Feel free to raise your hand or type in the chat to ask your questions. Tessa, your hand is up.
Yeah, earlier we had a question in the chat of is 3 minutes sufficient for the LTG elections? Is 3 minutes sufficient time to articulate your ideas and skill set?
I'm looking for the question. Can you repeat that? You were kind of cutting out for me.
Yeah, sorry. Is 3 minutes sufficient time to articulate your ideas and skill set for like lieutenant governor elections?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 3 minutes is more than enough time. You just have to spend the time to articulate yourself and put in the work to make sure that you're making a clear argument for yourself. Good question.
There's a question in the chat regarding if you guys will have access to this slide deck. And yes, we will send out the slide deck to the people who RSVP'd for the webinar. And it'll also be released in, I'm assuming the YouTube recording will also be released onto YouTube shortly after the webinar. So if you want to hear like the in-depth conversations and the um, what was attached to each slide and what we talked about, it'll be on the YouTube as well.
Correct. Thanks, Jeffrey.
So I saw a question about reimbursement for lieutenant governors. And yes, gas money and any Uber drives you make will be reimbursed. There is a set budget, so it is not infinitely reimbursed. It's, I believe it'll be the same as this year, which is $250. So depending on the size of your division, you do have to kind of strategize. But yes, gas money, that will be reimbursed, travel expenses, and stuff for DCMs can also be reimbursed. But things like incentives cannot. You can't spend that kind of reimbursement money on things like gift cards or prizes, if that will make sense.
Thanks, Addison. And then I saw a question about, as district executive, will there be financial assistance for attending ICON since it is on the service agreement? No, there's not a financial assistance if you win district executive. Kind of varies on what position you're talking about, but generally, no, there's no financial assistance, and it's encouraged to attend, but that's because it would be nice for you to support everyone at ICON, but I don't think it's technically, if you don't attend ICON because you can't financially afford it, then that's not going to be held against you, if that makes sense. And there is lots of support available through Kiwanis and other fundraising opportunities. And where can we find more information about emails of intent? Oh, the chat is moving so much. Emails of intent and club endorsements when running for LTG. Is more information available on the PNW Key Club website, or should we reach out to our LTG? You can definitely reach out to your LTG, but as we've said, definitely make sure you're very familiar with the candidate packet available on our website. And then Yavani, I think your hand is up.
Hi, I have a question, a more personal question for the district exec board. What are some growth have you experienced while serving on the district exec board, and how has it shaped you?
Great question. I guess I can go first, and then maybe the other executives can answer that. I kind of say this a lot, but my time in Key Club has completely altered how I conduct myself professionally. You wouldn't recognize me when I was a freshman in high school and just entering Key Club and versus how I am now. I've learned how to project my voice, to operate professionally, to keep myself and others accountable, just to name a few of the many skills I've learned through Key Club, especially as an executive. And then on a more personal level, or I think in relation to service, I've learned about the value of community service when we prioritize it as a well-structured organization. And I think I'm going to carry that with me through the rest of my life. So that's a great question. Does another executive want to answer?
Yeah, sure. I can chime in. And I go around preaching this a lot to the district board, but I really do believe that within my position professionally, I was really able to discover like why we do what we do, like why do you do what you do, and I think that discovering that why, like my why is doing it for the district board, my why is to make myself a better leader, and how this position, like the ways that this position has uplifted me, like the skills that we listed in the previous executive positions, we've all adopted to those positions, and or adopted to those skills and to those traits, that those skills and those traits will stick with us for either most of our high school career or into college, or probably even for the rest of our life. So I think that with that professional growth and with understanding like why you're running or why you're doing this, you really get a grip on like in the future when you want to do something, you really want to ask yourself why you want to do it and what you want to get out of it. Because I'm sure if like whoever my successor is, they will not they will not adopt the same skills, or they will not adopt the same uh, uh, skills, let's just say skills, as me, because they will have a whole other set of goals and a whole other set of objectives. They want to do like different, they probably want to do different things, and they will probably obtain different skills from that. So it really, so what I'm trying to say is that it's really up to you, like to ask yourself what you want out of this position and what can you get based on what we've told you.
Thanks, Jeffrey. I hope that answered your question, Ivani. And then maybe some of the other execs can chime in after, but just for time's sake, I want to make sure you get to some of the other questions. I saw one about, I asked my LTG this before, but from the executive board perspective, is there a way for LTGs to waive district board meetings due to other summer programs, i.e. studying abroad? I'm assuming that by waive, you mean not so much waiving fees, but just not attending. And not attending a board meeting as an LTG, even as a district executive, is unacceptable. It's really, you're only allowed one excused absence, and it should be used for emergencies, perhaps a family emergency or something like that. But summer programs, studying abroad, those are not acceptable excuses to miss a board meeting as an executive nor as an LTG. And if that's an issue for you, then I would rethink running for a position of higher office.
I have a couple things to add.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm one of the AAs. One is, as your term as LTG doesn't stop over the summer. So if you're going to be traveling abroad for the summer, you still have responsibilities that you are still going to have to keep up with as LTG. It's not like you can just take a month off. So I do want to be clear on that. Also, there's a question from Sawyer. The statement of intent is really just a sentence. You just say like, hi, I'm so-and-so from this high school and I plan on running for LTG, period. That's it. So there's no more information because all you're doing is stating, I'm interested in running, and that's it.
Yes. Thanks, Angela. I appreciate that. The DCON 2025 election packet, all of your resources are available on the DCON 2025 website, so pnwkeyclub.org/DCON. And then what are some good items to include in your speech, specifically for LTG? Like any speech, you want to kind of make an argument for yourself. So talk about what makes you qualified, what is your vision, why should people vote for you? That's what it comes down to. I can't really give any specific pointers, but overall, that's what you should be asking yourself is what makes me a fit candidate for this position, and what's gonna persuade people to vote for me, while being honest and transparent.
And to add on to like what Isabella said, like, and no, this is not like a joke or a meme, but like, why are you running? Like, no, that's not the joke, and no, that's not the meme, but why are you running for this position specifically, whether that be lieutenant governor or any other of the positions that we mentioned?
Just be honest with yourself, and if you are honest and qualified for the position, it will show through in your speech. So don't overthink it. And then will travel related to Key Club higher office be covered for LTGs? I'm assuming you mean ICON. No, again, ICON is not covered for LTGs or execs. So please keep that in mind. And if that's not what you meant, then please clarify. Maybe you meant something else, but for ICON, no. And what are some things that would be reimbursed for expenses in hosting DCMs? Jeffrey, maybe you want to take that on as treasurer, but I can also talk about it.
Sorry, I got caught up in something. What was that?
No worries. What are some things that would be reimbursed for expenses in hosting DCMs?
Okay, so when it comes to DCMs, we want to think of DCM supplies like markers, posters, decorations. But when we're thinking of reimbursements, we can't reimburse incentives. So like we can't reimburse Crumble Cookie that you bought to drag in some of your members because they love food. We can't reimburse prizes or gift cards because you want to have a raffle. And we can't reimburse what else? I think that's like the majority of it. Like anything incentive wise, we cannot reimburse.
Thanks. What tips do you have for people that are running for LTGs? Similar to what I said about the question regarding speeches, just be honest with yourself and with others when you're campaigning or running for district or running for LTG. You want to be honest with yourself. You want to think about what makes you qualified. And as Jeffrey said, explore your why, what motivates you to run, what can you contribute to this organization, things like that. Those are my tips. Just be honest with yourself, be a transparent leader. And if you're passionate and you're qualified, that will show. And I believe there was one. Oh, sorry. I was referring to events such as district board for my travel question. Okay. So district board meetings. District board meetings are not covered for LTGs. And the amount varies between board meeting. But there are opportunities to acquire financial assistance, maybe perhaps through a Kiwanis club, but definitely through fundraising, things like that. You can fundraise the amount needed to pay for district board meetings.
Also, as adults, we usually drive you and we provide your transportation to and from the meetings.
Correct. Thanks.
It's just the hotel that usually you have to pay for.
Yeah.
And may I also add on to that?
Sorry. If you're on free and reduced lunch, that's something you need to let us know because that makes a difference to the fees that you're charged.
Yes, absolutely. And just to add on to what Karina said, you will be asked if you let us know after if you're elected that you qualify for free and reduced lunch, you will be required to show us documentation that you in fact do qualify for that. So just please keep that in mind. But thanks, Karina. Okay, was there? I don't see. Oh. I don't see many others. Were there other questions? You can also unmute. Okay, if there's no questions, I'm happy to end the meeting. I'm just surprised there's not more questions. But you can always feel free to reach out to us via email. Oh, Andy Vo.
I just attached all of our emails in the chat. So that's Governor, Treasurer, Secretary, and Editor. But I will also attach the emails for Sky and Addison if you want to send them any questions. And obviously, you are limited to like, can you help me with my candidate speech? The answer to that question would be no. But obviously, if you have any questions that are, stuff that similar to what you may have asked here, then you can go ahead and email the respective person.
Correct. And then I did see a direct message from Andy. Andy Vo, do we have dates for board meetings for next year yet? That's in the candidates packet. Again, please reference the candidates packet. Make sure you read it thoroughly, as well as the registration packet. And that should give you the dates and information you need in general. And then I think that was the last question. So with that, I will conclude our Running for Higher Office webinar. Thank you all for attending, and I wish you happy holidays.
Thank you for coming, everybody, and thanks to the execs for hosting this. You did a great job.
Thanks, Karina.
Thank you, Karina, and thank you everyone for coming. Can't wait to see what you'll do.